ことは私の使命です。
In today's video, we're going to be going over Suomi. Now, Suomi is Global's launch god tier support, and pretty much the god tier support even in China to this day. I would assume for Global, she's probably going to be strong for another 2 years. So if you're currently watching this and she is out right now, you should definitely get her, and even get Dupes if you would like, because she is future proof. But today we're going to talk about her kit, gameplay, then we're going to talk about the teams, her best weapons, and then the best attachments as well. So let's get right into her kit first. So first thing we have here is Pelting Snowflake. Basically select one target within 6 tiles and deals physical damage equal to 80% of attack to them. Okay, then we have Winter's Wrath. So Winter's Wrath, save ability damage 4. Select one enemy target within 6 tiles, dealing freeze damage equal to 100% of attack to them. The skill's critical rate is reduced by 100%, but additionally deals fixed damage equal to 50% of defense. For each allied unit within 6 tiles, increases stable ability damage dealt by 1 point. If the target enters stable ability break after this skill is used, recovers 2 points of stable ability. Then we have Snow's Grace. Now, Snow's Grace is selecting one target, excluding herself within 6 tiles, and apply Frost Barrier for 2 turns. Frost Barrier, so when a shield or Frost Barrier is destroyed, apply Frigid for 1 turn to the unit that destroyed it. Frigid makes it so the enemy is not able to move and cannot be actively displaced. And then a shield, a shield is self-explanatory. Frost Barrier absorption amount is equal to 130% of a Suomi's initial attack. Cannot exceed 100% of the target's max HP. It will restore 2 stability index for each enemy unit within 5 tiles of the selected target. Apply 1 stack of defensive support for 2 turns. So for each enemy within 5 tiles of the selected target, it will stack and apply 1 per enemy defensive support for 2 turns for a maximum of 4 stacks. Okay. Then we have the ultimate Snowfield's Radiance, which is literally a League of Legends skill text. Select one empty tile within 6 tiles, dealing fixed damage equal to 50% of defense to all enemy targets within 3 tiles. Applying 3 stacks of Avalanche. Avalanche is when other freeze debuffs are applied, gain 1 stack. Upon reaching 5 stacks, take 8 fixed stability damage. This is considered a freeze buff. Okay. When it restores HP equal, it will restore HP equals to 30% of Suomi's max HP, 6 points of stability, and will cleanse 1 debuff. And cleanses the effect of Taunt from all allied units. Taunt is basically when the user cannot control themselves and they must attack that enemy. Additionally, applies Frost Barrier, which we've seen earlier, and 1 stack of Wintry Bastion for 3 turns. Now, Wintry Bastion is reduce damage taken by 30%, a maximum of 5 stacks. Expend 1 stack upon being attacked. Frost Barrier will absorb damage equal to 100% of Suomi's initial attack, up to a maximum of 100% of the target's max HP. If an allied unit is at full HP before being healed, they gain 1 additional stack of Shelter. Shelter is when you gain stability protection, reducing stability damage taken by 2 points. Each instance of stability damage taken consumes 1 stack, maximum of 3 stacks. Okay. And on top of Shelter, will gain continuous healing for 3 turns. That will restore 10% of maximum HP for 3 turns. After the skill is used, it will generate frost tiles on the ground. So frost applies frozen to the enemy tiles. Enemy units in this area will gain a weakness to freeze damage and freeze tiles. Now frozen, movement is increased by 1 tile if frozen has reached 2 stacks at the end of the action is converted to frigid, which lasts 1 turn, maximum of 2 stacks. Then last thing, least, we are into our passive now. So at the end of the action gains 2 points of CI or skill points, whatever you want to say it. Restores 5% of maximum Suomi's maximum HP to other allied units within 6 tiles. If the target is HP below 50%, increase the amount restored to 10%. When allied units, excluding Suomi, use base attack or skill, Suomi applies 1 stack of avalanche to a random enemy target within 6 tiles of herself. Okay. When an enemy unit within range takes target damage from an ally, prioritize using action support once. Dealing physical damage equal up to 80% of attack and 3 stability damage. Will apply critical damage up to ally units for 2 turns. That can be triggered twice per turn when HP is above 80%. Will also gain Sleet Drift Sprint. The range of support fire is increased by 1 tile. Critical damage buff will be 10%. So, I know, it's a mouthful, okay? That is Suomi. But that's basically her kit. If we just dumb it down here, to be honest, let's actually talk about it. So obviously we have the basic attack here, right? Now, I'm going to talk about the S2 because S2 is actually pretty important. Do not use this at all. Avoid this at all costs. This is the issue with Suomi also on auto, is that she will use this. You do not want to use this. So Suomi's whole thing is that you want to always have her ult up. Ideally every 2 turns you want to have her ult up to upkeep the shield, right? If we come here, okay, look, where is the for 3 turns, right? For 3 turns she applies the barrier. So at the end of, you know, every 2 turns, you want to be able to use your ultimate to upkeep the shield no matter what. You always want to have ult with Suomi. If you end up using the active buff, you're going to interfere with her rotation of having her ult up because it's going to cost 1 skill point or 1, you know, CI. So that is something you have to consider to never, try to never use S2. Yes, you can use it in ideally drastic situations. Hopefully you never come in that situation. But ideally you do not want to use this. Another thing, Winter's Wrath. When should you use Winter's Wrath? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, but you should kind of not use this on its own. Try to use this when you have as many teammates with you as possible. For each allied unit within 6 tiles, increase the stability damage dealt by 1 point. So some people may use Suomi right on her own. She's in her own world on the map, and you're using this skill and you're trying to get stability down, and you're wondering oh, why is it taking so long? Well, Suomi needs to be with her other allies to do more stability damage. So the stability damage is already at 4. You know, say it's a 5 team map. Now it's at 8. Right? So these are things you really have to consider when you're using Suomi. Other than that, I mean, everything else is pretty much just min-maxing, to be honest. Eventually you'll learn, but Suomi literally is just keeping your ult up and making sure that you don't use S2 and Winter's Wrath. Try to use this always around other characters if possible. Okay, so that's it for Sumi regarding the skills. Let's go into her Neuro Helix, which I still need to upgrade because I am behind. All right, so going to Neuro Helix. This is basically the best picks for the Neuro Helix. I will go over other picks that you can do, but let me just pull this up real quick. I do have other keys that you can pick depending on the situation. So the best key for her, well, these are be the best 3 keys for her. It's going to be fixed key, unyielding momentum. So after using active skill Winter's Wrath, if the target is in stability rank, restores 2 points of the unit's stability. Okay. Self-explanatory, obviously helps her out. And then we have number 2. Now number 2 is pretty important, Little Guardian. This allows her to be able to have her ult up as much as possible. So this is something that you want no matter what. You always want Little Guardian, always. And generally the last best one is going to be this one that you unlock at level 40. Logistics support in progress. At the end of the unit's action, if this unit's stability is greater than 0, recovers 10% of the unit's maximum HP and 1 point of stability. So those are the main 3 that you want to use no matter what. Okay. Now, the only ones that you can't consider is this one. This one's for PvP. Oh my god, I just realized my head was blocking it the entire time. Shit. Oh my god. Anyways, all right, so let's go back. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, so the best ones are going to be this one, and then this one. Okay, all right. Nonetheless, this is for PvP. Okay, so if you're into PvP, it doesn't really matter, but it's just for people that want to use this in PvP. You know, once you unlock the other game mode, that's there for you. Okay, and then the other key that you can use for Sumi is this one. So positive feedback. So this skill can actually increase CI for other characters. Now it's kind of because it's like, when are you really going to use this? I assume some people can find a way to use it for certain conditions, but the option is there if you're going to end up using it. But generally the best ones to use is Momentum, Little Guardian, and then Logistics Support in Progress. All right, so before I go into the next part, the next best thing that you should have for Sumi is this skin, right? Look at her. Oh my god, bro, look at that fucking stomach, bro. My neurons, oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, anyways, all right, so let's go into the weapons here. So weapons are kind of interesting for Sumi. I've got a lot of interesting questions about the weapon. So people are even asking about the battle pass weapon for Sumi. Let me see about the battle pass weapon again. So let's see, let me pull it up. Because if it is the right weapon that I think it is, you guys might be in luck. Specify manuscript. So every one tile movement ignores 5% of the target's defense up to 25%. If the movement exceeds 5 tiles, cleanses 1 random buff for targets attacking. See, the thing is with manuscript is that it is good. And the funny thing is that if you don't have Sumi's weapon, this is actually the next best thing. My thing with the battle pass weapon for Sumi is why would you just not use this battle pass for another DPS character? But I've generally have people ask, is the battle pass weapon good for Sumi? The answer is yes, it is. It's the next best weapon after her weapon. You know, essentially her weapon kinda is a support weapon, right? But if you want to run manuscript on her for whatever reason, you can. The option's there. If not, you don't have heater, well, our next best weapon is going to be Sumi. That's the next best thing that you can use. Other than that, you can use retired. Hopefully not, right? Please use any other SR, but Suomi would be the next best thing that you can use for her. Now let's go into attachments. So attachments is something that has been very interesting for people asking questions on it. So let's talk about it. So attachments, number one, it is Dupes line. Okay, so if you do not have V1, right? If you do not have V1 Suomi, yeah, I would say the best set for Suomi generally would be Ultimate Pursuit. Ultimate Pursuit increases the damage, healing, and shield effects of ultimate skills by 5% and will gain 1 stack after each use of an ultimate skill with a maximum of 4 stacks. That's pretty much the best thing you can get out of here for Suomi generally if you have V0. If you have V1, the reason why this changes is because at V0, Suomi does not heal as much compared to V1. So at V0, her only source of healing is from her passive. And then she also can't recover save ability gauge. So, you know, now she has more healing on V1, which makes it more useful to have emergency repair. So it's only useful if you have V1 Suomi, simply put. So those are the two sets, Ultimate Pursuit and Emergency Repair. If you want to run her as a DPS, again, I'm not discriminating against any options here for people. If you want to run her as DPS, run Phase Strike. That would be the next thing that you run. Substats you're going to be looking for, okay? So substats, now a lot of people ask, is it HP or defense first? No, it is still attack, okay? So you want her attack to be relative to her party member's HP to maximize her shield on her ultimate. So attack percent and attack is the number one things you want to look for when it comes to her weapon. Okay. After that, HP and defense would be the next best thing. I have a more damaging setup, but that's something I should definitely invest in more, like in the future. Now, let's see. The last thing I would go over is what dupes are her best dupes. So going to fortification here, I would say definitely V1, right? V1 is easy. It's a very, very big buff. Next thing I would say is V2. So V2 actually provides 15% more freeze damage to allies who are shielded by her. So V2 is good for like an ice DPS team. Okay, which could come in the future, depending on the time that you're watching this video. Who knows, maybe Ashiado and Dush is already out for the ice DPS team, but this helps apply more freeze damage. After that, the next only significant thing would be V6, because it grants debuff, not debuff, my bad, defense up for all allies, and it cleanses more debuffs. So it's a total of 3 now for debuffs that it cleanses. So, and actually gets a larger tile for the ult. So those are the only things I would probably recommend. And God, bro, she has that yacht on her, bro. Dang. Anyways, though, now the question is, do you go for dupes or do you go for the weapon? I would say personally, but I know it changes depending on the person. I would say go for V1 first. I would. More healing and more out of it rather than going for the weapon. after V1, I would say go for the weapon. And if you still want to invest, then go for V2. I might actually go for V2 in the future, to be honest. I don't think I'll go V6 because Suomi does get reran, and she's also in a rate up banner in the future, and she's also in a limited selector in the future. So yeah. But that is going to be today's video for Suomi. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys haven't yet. Again, you guys can join the Discord, link in the description down below. If there's anything else you guys want me to add in future guides, you guys can leave it down in the comment section below, and I will take a look at it and consider it. But I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh wait, one more thing I forgot. Teams, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. Just you literally put her on any team. What she's God. Come on now.